This was a confrontation. She asked for the evidence. That was the trigger. That's really what started this entire escapade. Is that and that's why he reacted. His best option in that moment was actually to walk off. Said, "Yeah, he's emotional. We already know that. He can't.
Right.
We don't know all these things, right? He did misogyny, all these things. But to me, what is important, in terms of a lesson for the future, is that he was pressed for the word evidence, and he realized that the best option that he had in that moment was to bail, was to pull the ripcord. And that's because it exposes what's really going on here. As you sort of talked about in your intro, this isn't about Spencer Pratt.
No.
Or even really about Trump's emotions, although that's a factor here. This guy does have, he's an unhinged conspiracy theorist. It's about keeping the engine running. It's about keeping the machinery of misinformation and disinformation warm, because this is going to be the mechanism that is used as we get closer and closer to the midterms. And so that's what this is really about. And what he couldn't have in that moment was him collapse when confronted with evidence. It's not like when he's out there broadcasting on social, right? It's a one-way conversation. He can throw anything into the pipeline and it gets turned into a product by the MAGA ecosystem. That is video evidence. And it was better for him, from his perspective, to keep the lie going, to walk off and take his lumps and look ridiculous, than to actually have to collapse. He doesn't have a good story right now. He doesn't have anything to hang on.
Right.
I mean, it is just calling it rigged and moving on. And that's the important, to me, takeaway, is that it does matter when he's confronted and challenged, and it's why it's important that everybody that has an opportunity continues to do that.
And Angelo's point is one about Donald Trump's weakness and how weak he looked. He was even bowed over to dodge the lights when kind of bent over. He patted her on the shoulder. He kind of crept away from that set. But let's not ignore the other side of the story, because it matters for Kristen Welker and it matters for the American people in these elections. That is the strength of America. She was strong. She said, I'm not crooked. She didn't lose control. She pushed back. She asked for the evidence. And same thing, California, what they're doing now, they're carefully counting these ballots. This is the process of democracy, and he is failing. It's why it's behavior like this that has led him to these historically low approval ratings, and it's the voters. He's ultimately afraid of the will of the voters. He even needs to lie and say Spencer Pratt was leading that race. As y'all pointed out, he was never leading that race. So it's about his weakness and the strength of America pushing back on him.
You definitely hit the nail on the head, Norm. I would also note that I believe that the interview that Trump did with Kristen Welker this past weekend was the first, quote unquote, real journalist he sat with in months. Right? And so he's done interviews, but he's calling into Fox News. He's sitting down with people from News Nation and Newsmax and folks that are not asking tough questions. He says what he says, and he just goes about his business. The only other time he's in front of real journalists is when he's in the Oval Office, sometimes appearing to be asleep. And then he starts taking a couple questions. And when he gets a little pushback, he attacks the journalist and then he moves on. And so this, I think, is very telling. And I'll look to see if we see Trump sitting down with anybody real in the next couple of weeks, because he seems very uncomfortable.
Well, especially to your point, because his allies are willing to carry his water.
Very much so. So he hadn't encountered the pushback that we're talking about. No one had said, well, where's the evidence? He wasn't ready for that question.
No, instead they're repeating what he was saying.
They're like, yes, sir, it's very unhinged.
Can we take a listen to Jesse Waters?
Please.
The whole system's a python that swallowed a pig. Half the country thinks they're cheating, the other half thinks they're idiots. If it takes you a month to name a winner, it looks rigged. Now, I don't know if it's rigged or not. It looks that way.
It just undermines the faith in integrity of elections to allow this kind of voting. I don't care how convenient you want to make it for people. Do we really want to make it that convenient? I mean, these are lazy ass people. If they can't get off their fat asses and get to election polling stations on election day, then we don't want you. Okay, we don't want your vote.
We take that. Democracy Dockets, Mark Elias. I mean, she said Santa Claus was only white. California is the new ground zero for free and fair elections. This is what he said, Michael Steele. Just as Trump became unhinged, in 2020 as swing state after swing state was called for Biden. This fall, he will endure the humiliation of watching Hakeem Jeffries' new congressional majority grow larger seat by seat as California results are tallied and certified. To prevent that outcome, Trump is trying to preemptively delegitimize California's results and create a permission structure for Republicans to challenge them and set them aside.
I want to know where the hell they've been living for the last years that they've been in the United States. Have you not experienced, Jesse Waters, has California not been in our electoral process since, I don't know, the beginning of the damn country? I mean, what are they talking about? These people are acting as if, Angelo, this is something foreign. They've never seen California prosecute their elections. They've never seen voters in California go to the polls. And we've never had an election, whether for a midterm election or a presidential election, in which the country goes, yeah, California, they're a little bit slow. We'll catch up with them in a week, 10 days. Rest of us move on, right? Everybody else seems to function fine. No one else is whining and I got a word I can't say, but complaining about California elections. Exactly to the point. This is to set up what they want to do come November. And they want to set the predicate with California right now that what you're seeing play out here, why, get off your lazy ass and vote. Well, guess what? That's what voters do. And damn, you can get up whenever you're allowed to get up and go vote. If they say you got this period to go vote, let them go vote. What do you care? Did you vote? That's the only thing you need to be worried about.
Yeah. So a couple of things here. One, we cannot forget, we cannot have this conversation and forget about and ignore that when Dominion sued Fox News and all that stuff, we already know because they wrote it. They lie. It's not. We don't have to put up evidence. We don't have to find all the examples and innuendo. No, they literally said it. They carried a lie about an election in order to support Donald Trump. That they were willing to do it. I mean, Rupert Murdoch acknowledged that the only one that could actually tell the truth and change people's perspective was Fox News, and then decided not to do anything about it. All those people that you play the clip of, they all lied. They all knew they were lying. They didn't care. So that is the reality that we're going to have to deal with. No, they certainly haven't changed. But there is something notable in the difference, and I want to make sure I put that on the table because it sort of ties a few threads together. Trump is very weak right now. That is true. He is failing. And yet, at the same time that he is weak and failing, you still have Speaker Johnson out there carrying water for him and everybody else. The laws of political reality are not applying to him. And that should scare all of us because it means that it's anti-democratic. It means that the rules don't matter for a reason. And we know what happened the last time. So we should, when they rev up this machinery, this is not to persuade people's hearts and minds. Right. It's to work up a certain number of people for reasons. That has been a tried and true strategy that they're going to continue to deploy. That's the first thing. The second thing is, and this is key, right now it's tepid. Fox News has actually been trying to have a middle ground. I watch every minute of it. They have not repeated Donald Trump's claims about it being rigged. They're doing what Jesse Waters did. They're asking all these questions. They're saying, look at all, isn't it weird? It smells fishy, but they're not actually projecting a narrative right now. There is no cohesive narrative that anyone is pushing. You have people like Benny Johnson online saying, look at the Trump administration investigations. That's proof somehow that's happening. So I think it's key that as bad as this is right now, this is nothing because they don't actually have a cohesive narrative, and the full Fox mechanisms are not fully deployed right now.
It's interesting to me, too, given that you now have Senate Dems having briefings on the Hill about what this election interference is going to look like, with legal giants like yourself sort of walking them through the realities of what you are preparing for. So as they do what they're doing, what are you doing?
As has been publicly reported, we did have a red team exercise led by Senator Schumer. The other senators, they brought in legal experts. I think that like in 2020, we have safeguards. We will be tested. There is no doubt. Let's get ready. Let's have the conversation. But the courts, look how strong they've been against Trump over the past 16 months. The courts, we will go to court. We alone at Democracy Defenders Fund in Action, over 300 cases and matters. We've been winning. This week, Donald Trump's name's going to come off the Kennedy Center. We stopped that slush fund with our case in Florida. The same thing will happen in the election cases. We're on a winning streak. You'll have court protection. Our political leaders are going to need to be strong. But once again, Donald Trump put one of his #1 henchmen, Bill Pulte, who's been baselessly attacking people over in the FHFA, making false claims, filing bogus things.
This is different
senators,
than
look,
2020?
but look at what the senators did, Simone. They said, we're not moving.
Right.
The Section 702 surveillance authority, the entire Democratic caucus said, we're yanking our votes. That was a power move. That's not January 2025 when they were going along. That is a very strong move. And ultimately, it is going to come down to the people of this country. Vote in large numbers, vote early. That is the one thing that all of these shenanigans cannot overcome. So all of those safeguards can't protect us. Let's be ready. Let's work hard. And then democracy. We won't say who's going to win the races. Let's have a free and fair election.
Simone, you got something?
Well, yes. This is new reporting just coming in. Republican candidate Steve Hilton, who has been endorsed by Donald Trump, is holding a news conference tomorrow. And the news conference is to address the state's quote-unquote slow ballot processing system. A reminder, as Michael has been saying, as Alicia has noted, it is normal for it to take a few days in California to know race results.